Hello world, Frida Reva Darcy and Patricia O'Connor here. Yeah, we're here. And what you see before you is Ponderosa pine, babe, that we got last week. And I threw a little wire to it after I said I wouldn't. And then I got pretty psyched about the look of the wiring. Or, you know, I wasn't really psyched so much about my wiring as much as I was psyched about the way that I felt the tree looked when wired. So then my eye went right to the part that I didn't like about it. And so I cut part of that loose, while at the same time the fine work that I had done, not that it was finer work than the other part of it, but I meant the smaller branch work that I had done, I left in place. And so here's kind of what we got going. This is a Ponderosa, newly acquired for us, and it is a beauty. I just love this little tree. It's covered in bark. It's got a really good shape to it. I like almost everything about this. Even the part that I've got a slight issue with, I kind of like that part of it. I almost don't want to do anything. Here's what I think. I think the tree is gorgeous, and I also think at the same time the tree is as wide as a freaking elk. It's just really big. So what I had was a heavier gauge of wire that went from here to here. It went about this far on this side, and it went about this far on this side. However, there was a couple of things about it that I didn't like. And one of them was I really felt like I had done a good job on this side, but on this side, when I crossed over, I kind of crossed over in here. I gave up some really good real estate. I could have had one, maybe two more wraps between here and here, instead of just the one that kind of came over here kind of long. And then I just continued to go out from there. So when it came time to try to shrink the tree, I didn't have the leverage. It might have been that I would need to add a second wire to do that either way. But I didn't want to add a second wire and lay it alongside of one that I didn't like. It might have been that if I'd have tried to do that, I would see that I still came up short because I was wasting leverage by stretching the wire out on this side and not having those two lengths in there that I could have used as holding power. So I cut that loose, and in doing so, I saw that I was able to keep kind of this in shape. The only problem I had with any of the rest of it was at one point this was crossing that and this was crossing that. So now that's not an issue. And I have a length of wire here cut. Let's just have a look at this tree. I'll start off with a little rotation. It has bark. It has a really nice looking base. Base is quite wide. Good nabari is what I would say to that. It has really good motion in the base of the tree. The trunk has really good taper. It has really good branching. Now, you know, some of the videos that I've been watching lately, those guys would get ready to wire a tree and they go through and they clean up the needles really well. You know, they do all of this to make it really easy for them to get wires on. And then they'll do something that's a little, you know, sometimes they'll go through and go, yep, and then they'll cut this and cut that. So all of a sudden they've got 25% less tree to wrap. You know, it could just as easy do that. You could decide this was it. You could decide this was it and cut it back to there. Those are all still pretty trees. If I were wanting to accent sparse, you know, sparse and rugged, I might do that. I might do on this side, I could go all the way to there, right? This could be that side, and this could come down more and hang down. And that would, for what we have now, it's pretty. I actually want to keep all of it, but look how wide it is. I mean, those are just antlers, right? That's like living with a moose, which I assume would be a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to put a little wire on that and see if where we come at on leverage. And if I have to, then I'll add a second wire to it, but I probably won't mind adding a second wire to it because I will have not done the same thing that I was unhappy with this last time. Easy, easy. Out there. So here we go, and I'm not going to get it. This video is not going to go really fast. We're not going to take this. This is going to be kind of a trying to stay in the moment, kind of just making like this is zen and like we're not nervous about bending this tree or anything. But I'll tell you this part is already starting off better. I've already started off better than I did last time. And our tools tonight, we have all of our favorite toys on deck. I have needle nose, both hook nose, needle nose, and I have the soft tip needle nose. And we have various and sundry pliers standing by. So I think we have all the stuff right up here piled up right close to my way. The whole time I did that, I had a monster death grip on that trunk, trying to make sure that if anything was pushing on it or doing anything, it was nervous mom, not the wire. It's kind of like holding your kid so tight you'll leave them bruised. Well, easy spastic. However, I gotta say, this is going my way. The smaller work in those branches, I was doing that more with our needle nose guys than I was with that. That's pretty tough though. That's pretty tough going. Let me see what I have here. It'll give me some leverage to rub. I guess we can just try to go that with these shorties, with the soft ones here. The fingers kind of get in there. Easy pat. Yeah. Give up, Dorothy. You gotta have a place to go with that. Okay. Now. Oh, right. Also, I put this gin in it. That is my, no I didn't, the Dawn Redwood, my Dawn Redwood has a gin on the top of it. My first tree had a gin in it. This is a gin that I put, it was a long branch. It was one with the pom-pom on the end of it. Kind of like this one was, but we were able to deal with that. But it looked very juvenile. This looked aged and gnarly, and this was kind of blocking it and just kind of came out even, you know, accentuated all of that too big stuff even a little more. So yeah, okay, I still have a little more to do here. I think I want to get something on this guy here. How hard is that? Okay, we're gonna go with some lighter gauge for that. I want to put a wrap. I want to put a wrap on this branch. I'm kind of guesstimating how much I think I need to make one length of that, and then I double it because I'm going to try to do two at the same time. It's not that heavy of a wire, and that's kind of how I've been doing it. Actually, that looks like a lot of wire on there, but see, that was a better job than the one I did last time where I stretched it out too long. Okay. I was watching tool time videos the other day, and somebody was showing some channel locks that they were kind of like doing a test on. You know, they were doing a review. That's the word, Patricia. They were doing a tool review on some channel locks made by this company, which is I call Knipex, but it's spelled Knipex, and they were calling it Knipex, which I thought was a little weird. And then I thought, well, maybe they know something you don't, Patricia. You're Southern, for God's sakes. When have you ever corrected anybody saying anything and had it go and had that go well? So, yeah, I guess there's. But I would have thought Knipex would have been a little like knife, you know. Anyway, maybe it's somebody's name and they know it's. No, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, I think it's Knipex and not Knipex. And this wire is going on there pretty nicely. We're not seemingly having any troubles with that. The whole point to doing this is to try to bring these outer branches in to make not trimming them necessary. Make trimming them not necessary is what I should say. So I don't want to cut them. I've kind of looked at it in my mind's eye, and it would still be a pretty tree without them. We can get away without them, but I don't want to. It's some of our branching that I think gives us character, and I don't want to go without it. There. We win. And we win. Oh yeah, let's clean up that. Let's go. Right about. Can I get in there? Can I get in there? I'll just get in there with smaller cutters. Yeah, I'll just get in there with smaller cutters. I want to cut this off, but I don't have the right choppers with me. Oh, there they are. I knew I was burdened with way too many tools not to have these guys right there close by. All right. So let's make some space. So there we is. We got a little wrap on there, and we're gonna see now if we can get some of this stuff to work in a little tighter. Maybe down and in would be good. And she gets the cramp. At the same time, I'm trying not to wreck this bark on this stuff too. It's not. It's not staying. We can, we have room to go one more, and then at that point I would have had to have gone up a gauge of wire. The branch I just tried to move and it just sprung back, has 2 wires on it. We can go 3. We just went 2. Going 1 more would be pretty easy. I had a dyslexic moment. Get over there. Why does that feel like it's piling up? Because it is. There. It's not leaving me a lot of room. It's a good thing that I saved myself some room, because this is tight and I only have this much room to play with because I did a pretty okay job of coming through here last time with those 2 wires together. They both behaved well, and it also helped me kind of get through that kind of quickly. This one falling in those other 2's tracks with no more room to spare than what we have is almost trickier. Easy. Where is it? It's there. It's right there. One more time. Come over. So here on this end of this branch, I tried to come over the top of the branch. Whenever I went from the larger branch to this small twig on the end, I tried to come over the top of the twig rather than go over the, I tried to go over the top of it rather than come underneath. And that, so when I pull that down, I won't be pulling that down on a piece of wire that'll stop me. That looks like too much dang wire. Let's see how we do. That looks like a lot of wire. Also, this wire is bright, and it shouldn't be bright, which makes it look like it's too much wire. It would help us more if it were at least a little aged. Well, yeah. Let's see if we can do this first. Yeah, that's helping. A little down and in, and then a little down and in with the ends, and a little down and in with this end. And if we can get this. Okay, come here, there. One of these days I'll find the right size tool for this. There we go. So you see me using these pliers just like grabbing the tree trunk, but I'm laying it across. I'm laying it across the copper wire. I'm using the wire as a shield against the bark. Not getting the stay power out of that. It's winning. Well, I'm getting some motion out of it, but not a lot. Okay. Let's see how we do there. It's just like, oh, yeah. Hello. I should have measured this before we started to see what we get out of it when we do get something out of it. Down. Yeah. Well, it's just a matter of being way more deliberate about it. I don't want to add another wire in there. It looks like a wire tree already. My little dog is in there going to town on her water bowl. She was thirsty. A little more bite there. Get out of there, get out of there. I felt discouraged by trying to do the big bend, but I am I'm getting more work or getting more accomplishment out of just trying to do smaller bends and smaller increments in more places of the tree to try to achieve the same thing. And that might have been just a smarter way to go to begin with. Also, I'm trying to find a way to grab this in the right way while at the same time totally not blocking camera, and I should probably be just more worried about grabbing it in the right way. You are fabulous. You certainly created a little space that way. This stuff is sure so nice to look at. Maybe if we take it more around there, and then, so yeah, that makes more sense. I was hoping to kind of grab it by the antlers and pull it in like a, like wide handlebars on a bicycle. But I think just trying to bring everything in little tiny increments, if we can get away with that, that would help quite a bit too. Maybe next time when it comes time to rewire it, I'll go less wires, heavier gauge. I liked doing it that way because I liked doing it the way I did it because I felt like heavier wire would have been harder to do, and it would have been. That's just part of the fun of it. I have to get over that. Next time, I think we'll be doing that instead. I will be going with a heavier gauge and using less of them. Get in there. Did I get a bend out of that? I did. Can get more of a bend out of that. Can we get more of a bend out of that? Maybe. Let's play with our different options here. Possibly too slippery to grab a wire that's at that angle. Yeah. I don't really, well, maybe. Oh, okay, got that. I just scarred the heck out of that copper, so I know I had a good bite on it. The branch is fine. We got away with that. That's a little acute, but a little acute, not too much. I think I was, yeah, that's a lot better. It's a little farther in. It's a little closer in. Where else can I work this puppy? That I'm not really seeing a lot happen there so far. I don't know if I move that, if it's just going to move right back or not, but we're going to try again right there. Then I'll probably go, let's see, which mode, Frida? Right mode. So we'll grab it there. And we'll go wide mode here. Next, our next tree slash victim came almost back. I can see it didn't because the wire buckled here. We don't care if the wire buckles. That moved in some. I wonder if we should try that again. Maybe we try that again. Our next tree will be, we're going to break out a mugo pine and put some folds upon it. I got a little more out of it. I'm going to call that good. All right, I'm not killing this. I'm not setting the world on fire with these bins here. We are making incremental success. I think we were out here more and we were able to bring this in maybe this much. We brought this in maybe that much, and we brought this in about that much. So the farther out we went, and you can kind of see it because all of this stuff was up tight, and as we just pushed it in, I wasn't able to twist it. I wasn't able to twist it well. Yeah, I wasn't really able to twist it and have it stay, right? So as we pushed it in, that just kind of, you could see those wires raised up. That's how much we moved that in. I was able to move the ends down though. That was kind of good. Also, I could maybe bring this down, which would give us a little more latitude on that one. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. So that's in a little. That's in a little. I'm getting that right there where I want it, and the sucker doesn't stay. All right. So I guess we just give up. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to just give up. that would so not be me. I guess we'll just give up and go home. Yeah. I do say that about my crib, though. I say over the years, I've learned not to fight it so hard. I kind of made a house that I've kind of made my little place that I stay at here a place that I'm rather partial to, and I like being home. Tell me, go big or go home, and see what I do. I'll go. I like being here with Frida. What do you think, Frida? So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to sling this. I'm going to sling this branch to this piece of to this shari here, to this gin here, and I'm looking around for something that I have that I could use as a little protectant from this wire. Do I see anything? I need something to protect that with. Anything? Anybody volunteer? No, I'm gonna have to go get some rubber tape from the tool closet. You heard me. I have a tool closet. Yeah. All right. I won't be gone long because it's just like 4 feet away. All right. How is that frame? We can pull that. There we go. Sorry. Okay. Here we are. Back at the show. This is just rubber tape that I like to use for little jobs like this, where you need to protect something from wire damage or pat damage or whatever comes up. I like to go with this stuff. It doesn't have any adhesive on it. It's just kind of active rubber. It sticks to itself, and it's pretty handy. It's pretty handy stuff. So where are we gonna go? We're gonna go. Don't get lost, Pat. We're gonna go right in here, I think. So we'll do that with this. Quit. First of all, you can stretch it, right? Then it gets a little bit active, I think. Maybe not a whole lot more active, but I think it gets a little more active. You think that really helps, Patricia? Well, maybe. There's a little piece of copper sticking up, but I was going to see if I could get in there and cut that little head of copper sticking up. I don't think I cut much off. I heard it clip, but it was still there. It looked to me like it was still there when I was done. Oh, Jesus, that's the huge protectant from hell. It's certainly going to feel safe. All right. There we go. No, let's pull some of that off. Let's get some of that out of there. Totally lost my head and went at some bougainvillea roots with my good scissors. It's like, yeah, the things we do for love, right? Anyway, so this is going to be a little sling, just a little sling thing. I'm going to lay this right in here like this, like that, all nice and easy here. Nobody's getting too excited. Nobody's noticing anything. Nobody's getting choked. Nobody's getting their bark knocked off. We're all hanging out here. Everything's all friendly. Okay, I got a little twist on that so I can take my hands off of it without it falling apart. Okay, so there. Clear some of the extraneous back, little rocks everywhere. Bring this around here now. So there's our little sling we have, and that's the little wrap that I put on it. Get the hole that I had earlier, because that wasn't so bad. That felt pretty good, actually. And then, let's see if we can do a neat job of bringing this in. We're going to do a great job of bringing this in. I can already see that's going to be that's going to be great guns right there. Oh, almost cuts her wrist with a piece of copper wire. That's excitement. Gee, Pat, different tree now. Let's bring this back. No. Let's do that. And then do. We just bought ourselves a whole bunch of real estate right there. Oh, while I'm here. Don't you break that off. You have to go all the way around with it. I'm trying to find a place to hold that without totally blocking the camera, without totally doing 10 other things I don't want to do. One of which is wreck this cool little branch. Oh, that's coming around our way. Oh yeah. There we go. We got that. Now, how are we going to Cheerio our way out of that one? I really like what we did to that branch, though. That totally solved that. That totally solved that problem. Maybe no, maybe nothing. Oh, if we could though. Jeez Louise. Yeah, bring that down from there. That was what would be. That's what would be cool. All right, we're gonna go back here where we started and clean up our dagger. Boom. There you go. I'll find that. I'll find that in the middle of the night. Okay, so let's tip this up, up. Tip that up a little. Okay. Tip this up a little. Just a little. Okay. Tip this maybe more forward some. Back and forward. There. Now, I still feel like I need to do something with this, and I see what it is. I don't know if we have enough wire enough to do that. Oh yeah. Look at that. Yeah, we got a little collision going there, so we could do. We're gonna get all Cheerio with this sucker here before if we're not careful. Like that's a bad thing. And then we have room for that. Tree looked like, with all of that bark on it, it looked like it was just ready to just snap if you even so much as looked at it. And golly, that was the secret. The secret was to not to try to grab it by the base of the horns and pull it in, but to take all this fantastic tertiary and start working with that. If I want to throw a wire on that guy, I can lead it around by its nose and just get it to do anything. Actually, having gotten that guy to do that and that guy to do that, I'm cool with that one. All right. That brought that in some. That's an awful lot of wire. It looks like one of the... I'm not a big fan of people who make wire bond, sculptures with wire. It's like a lot of good bonsai wire. Anyway, that could be a tree. That is somewhat better. That is somewhat better. I think I brought that in from ridiculously out there to somewhat out there. I think the problem with it now is I've got too much wire on it, but I don't really see stuff that I have. I have a couple of crosses in there, but mainly where my wires cross themselves or where I started them farther back because I wasn't able to use the 2-branch method without using the main branch. So maybe I was wiring a limb, and so I had to go to the main branch, and it's got a couple of coils here. Some of that stuff crossed, but out here where I was doing stuff to do this, all of that's pretty clean. It's just there's a lot of it. And the answer to there being less of it would be to go with a thicker gauge wire, which is going to be harder to do, but I am. You're watching me in real time get bolder about this. Yeah, we're just buying some space. We're just buying space right and left. Up until we're not, I guess. So yeah, the answer to that would be if we weren't getting the motion out of it we need to, it would be simply just to go with heavier wire and use less of it. Instead, that's a lot of wire there. I keep going, that's a lot of wire because that's a lot of wire. I can bring that down. And then back up. And then bring this guy. Okay, what should that do? should be a little bit more open. And come back this way, back here. I think I can tweak this a little more, but I'm probably at a really good point that artistically I would stop and look at it for a few minutes, and then I wouldn't do very much to it from here on out. I bet the next time you see it, this is what our tree will look like. I'm still thinking that if I had to, I could get out of this by chopping that. If I had to, I could get out of this by chopping that and having that be that broad out there. And we have all of these choices out here. I just like all of those choices. I like all of these little branches, and this is like, why would be afraid of breaking them when the option would be, if we couldn't find a way to make this, would be to cut them. And if we could cut them, then we could certainly feel free to try to make them be a beautiful part of the tree. I just kind of talked myself right into that. That can go. We'll let it, but that'll be a decision for another time. All right, that's going to be what we do to this. I'm okay with the technique that I pretty much used there. I just used too much of it, and I probably, going in, I knew that once I cleaned up an earlier error, that I'd already seen that some of those branches were springy with the wire that I had on there, and I was thinking that maybe once I cleaned that up, I would get an extra spiral or two, and that would help me get the motion out of it. And then when I wasn't able to get the motion out of that, probably going back with the second wire wasn't. That just made it a wire tree. But in all of that, the solution for most of that was to go back to our secondary. This is our secondary. This is our secondary. And go back on that and start just doing little increment pushes on all of that stuff. And in the end, I got a lot more interesting motion out of doing that. You know, first you just kind of start doing that to the outside branches because you have to. And then you do that to the inside branches because you can't just have them having motion when the rest of it doesn't. But I actually think that we're sort of adding a direction to this tree because of that. That is pretty cool. I'm liking this. I gotta say, I'm liking this. Get over there. All right. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Our next drop will be probably tomorrow. I could do a little rotate on this guy. Our next drop will probably be tomorrow. And we got a couple of good projects. We got a couple of good projects that I'm pretty psyched about coming up in the works. And more pine work of various and sundry ages and stages. And it's probably about time to start cleaning up some cypress trees. Maybe go in there and look at all of that stuff and see how that's doing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Oh yeah, last thing she does is kicks the damn camera.